Yeah, the previous one, histone DNA wrap around to make these chromosomes and a chromatin. Yes. So we have done the first lesson of digestion quickly. Again, autotrophs, they can make their own foods. Heterotrophs, divided into holzoic and symbiotic. Holzoic are the fluid feeders, substrate feeders, bulk feeders, and filter feeders. Symbiotic, parasitic, mutualism, and commensalism. So they all use this ingestion, digestion, absorption, and assimilation and negation. So we learned what is the meaning of these words. And we started the digestion first part. It's in the oral cavity. So we have two aims. One is learning the structure of the digestive system and also learning the function. The oral cavity has this salivary gland which secretes saliva, and saliva has several functions. Function number one, lubricate. It add the moisture to the food from this mucus, and it has amylase enzyme, can digest carbohydrate, and then antimicrobial substances like lysosome and immunoglobulins. They can fight with microorganisms and some kind of harmful toxins which can come with the food or other source. And we also list buffering action of the mucus as a function number 4. The pH is keep constant with the buffering action. Okay, do you have any questions so far? And also we learn the saliva secretion is involve the nervous system. When we see, thought, smell, seeing the food or taste the food, it goes to the brain. Then the brain sends signal back to the salivary glands to secrete the saliva. So this is called nerve reflex. So if you don't have anything to ask, we have to start from this place called pharynx. Okay, maybe you can start to draw this picture. Nose, mouth, this. It'll be bigger nose, it's okay. And this is the nasal cavity. And here is the mouth cavity, oral cavity. It goes down here. Okay. Now, if we consider this part, so how we write this one? This is called, we can say, passage from nasal cavity through oral cavity to a start of start of esophagus is called pharynx. This is esophagus. This is trachea. Okay, now trachea is going to the lungs and esophagus is going to the stomach. Okay, there's a small structure here. This one can close. Let's say that now, if the food is coming, this is called food bolus. When the food is going down, it allows this one to close the trachea because the tracheal opening is this place. Otherwise, food is going to trachea. To prevent that, the food close this structure called epiglottis. This is called epiglottis, and it close epiglottis when food is passing through the pharynx. So this doesn't cause food enter into the trachea. Otherwise, air line blocked by the food. And sometimes, this part is called the nasopharynx. This part is called oropharynx, and this one is called laryngopharynx because there is a structure here called larynx. Beginning of trachea, there is a structure called larynx. This one. Larynx is the starting point of the trachea. So it has some kind of, when we can speak, because air is passing through the larynx, the chords start to vibrate, which make the sound. So larynx is responsible for the voice, and people call it like voice box or vocal cords, like these things. They are located in the larynx. So sometimes we used to call nasopharynx, oropharynx, and the laryngopharynx. But it's important that we understand what is pharynx. Passage from nasal cavity through oral cavity to the start of the esophagus is called pharynx. Okay, then if you look esophagus is a hollow tube, just like this. It is going to the stomach. And the esophagus, the main component is the muscles. It's a good thing now. So we have learned type of muscles. So initially, these muscles represent mostly the skeletal muscles, but after that, most of the muscles are smooth muscles. Initially, we can see some skeletal muscles, but most of the muscles are smooth muscles. And here again, we get two types. One type of muscle is called circular, other type of muscle is longitudinal. There's no I here. Longitudinal. So why we call circular muscles? Because they arrange circularly, like a circle. The muscles are organized in a circle. These muscles arrange in a line like this. This one organized in a circle. All right. So yes. Okay. Now I just wanted to ask you if we eat in this position, will the food reach stomach? Because gravity is in this direction. The food has to pass this direction. So food is going against the gravity. Well, food can still pass. Food can still go into the stomach because food is not going because of the gravity. Because usually when we eat in a standing position. Then the gravity is always this direction and food is also going this direction. But gravity has no effect on the direction of the food. It is not due to the gravity. So it is due to a process called peristalsis. Okay, you can write it. Food passed through esophagus by peristalsis. So what is peristalsis? So we can write it's a rhythmic contraction of muscles to make a waves. So the muscles contract like to make just like a wave, and then food can pass through it. So it is something like this. This is footballers. Right. When the footballers is at this place, circular contract. Yeah, usually the digestion you can learn circular, the peristalsis moving the whole level. Yes, true. Circular contract, longitudinal relax. At this place, circular relax, longitudinal contract. Then in this place, when it's contract, then foot is going this. Then again it changed to this place. Same thing again change at this place. It's like quickly going as a wave, circular contract, longitudinal relax. Opposite, in front of that, circular relax, longitudinal contract. When the foot is going to this place, again circular contract, longitudinal relax. Right. So I can think we can see this one. Here you can see the person break the foot's mechanical digestion and then make the bolus with the help of tongue, and tongue push the foot back into the pharynx. Then you can see epiglottis can closed at this place. Yeah, it just pressed the epiglottis and closed the trachea now. Now it's moving to the esophagus. So circular muscle and longitudinal muscles arrange, one contract, one relax. And now when it press here, the foot is moving forward. It happened like a wave-like contraction, and it's very difficult to visual. I mean, draw it. It's very fast. Okay, that is happen in the esophagus. Now, next part, I think I think you learn digestion in O levels, and you know the basic parts of the digestive system. Just to revise it, if we draw quickly, this is the esophagus, and esophagus is going to the stomach, and the stomach start again with the small intestine, duodenum, and then jejunum and ileum, and this again joined to the large intestine, that is cecum, colon,
So
and then
it's not so visible.
rectum. Sorry.
It's not visible, sir.
Okay, I didn't share because it's very difficult sometimes sharing screens. Like now I can see, right? Because if you don't see it, let me know. Okay, this is very simplified version. Esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. I think the human, you need five human body organs and functions. We can learn by a lot of drawings because drawings can really help you to remember. Right, there is another one, liver and gallbladder, and the other side, pancreas. So this is coming to the small intestine, and there is a duct, a tube is coming to this place, and then both join together now enter into the intestine. This is pancreas, this is a liver, this is a gallbladder. We learn later on that's a hepatic duct, pancreatic duct, and hepatopancreatic duct. So these ducts bring to the everything fluid to the intestine. And small intestine, again we can divide into duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. This one, cecum, colon, rectum. Initial part is cecum, this part, and the last part is the rectum. So basically, this is the anatomy of the digestive system. So we need to see it as a whole now, because it's not a separate one. So it's everything is linked. Especially pancreas and the liver, they are separate organs and they link to the digestive system. Digestive system is continue as one unit from mouth to the anus. Mouth, anus. So that is the alimentary canal starting from the mouth as a tube. It's going to the stomach. Stomach is again tube, but is a bigger. And then going to the large and small intestine. They are also tubes, and then ended up at the anus. But pancreas and liver, they make separate connection to the digestive system. So next task is what is happening in the stomach and how it looks like. What is happening in the large small intestine, how it looks like. What is happening in the large intestine, how it looks like. What is the shape of the liver and what is it doing and what is the function, pancreas structure and what is it functions. Then we have to learn the enzymes and regulation of digestion, hormones. What are the hormones regulate digestion and what is the enzymes used by the digestive system. So we start with the stomach then. Right, when the esophagus ended, this place is the beginning of stomach. Stomach is usually like this shape structure. This part is the duodenum, right? This is so only this part we can consider as a stomach. The start is the esophagus, end is the duodenum. Okay, there is a control system like a dose from the start to the end. So here there is a strong control system, and there is again another control system. So these control systems made out of the smooth muscles, and we call them sphincters. This is also sphincter. This sphincter is called cardiac sphincter, and this one is called a pyloric sphincter. So both made out of smooth muscles. I think these sphincters muscles usually we cannot. I mean, you remember that smooth muscles they are involuntary, so we can't control. So it is controlled by the nervous system. But there's exceptional cases you will see in the kidney section. There is a urinary sphincter that we can control by ourselves. The urine store in the bladder. So emptying the bladder, we can control whenever we want. That sphincter is mostly controlled by voluntary. Right. If you look inside, again, it is made out of muscular walls, and inside is a little bit folded like this to increase the surface area. But generally, the structure from esophagus to the rectum, the tube structure is more or less same because they have a very strong outer wall, and then mostly the inside is the cells, and then mostly the connective tissues and muscles. This is the epithelial cell. This is the muscles, and that's the connective tissues. So this is remain mostly constant throughout the digestive system, but the amount of muscles may be different. So type of epithelial may be slightly changed. Other than that, they have these several layers. Epithelial is the first one, and the muscle layer, and the connective tissues. Okay, next we will see how inside looks like. Too much layers and all these things are not much necessary to learn. But just to get an idea, like epithelial cell layer, and there is a muscular layers, and the connective tissues made this whole alimentary canal. Okay, then we look what is inside looks like, how inside looks like. So we can find a deep tunnel like this. The surface make this kind of a deep passage inside the stomach. So if you look this passage ended up in something like this kind of a appearance, and this is lined by the epithelial cells. The complete surface is lined by epithelial cells. Even this one, again, epithelial cells are there. And we can separate them into two now. This is the gastric. Gastric refers to the stomach pits. This one, gastric gland. Gastric pits and gastric gland, and sometimes this the connection is called neck. There are different names used, isthmus and neck, but it's not that important. Gastric pits and gastric glands. So this can increase the surface area, right? If it is make this kind of a deep pits, it increases the surface area. Okay, then we can identify uh, three, four kind of cells, special cells in these areas. So, for example, these cells, one group of cells, and another cell types we can also find here, and another cell type we can also find here. And fourth one we can find here. So let's name these cells now. So these cells are called mucus cells, and these cells are called parietal cells. These cells are called cheap cells, and these cells are called gastrin or G cells. Mucus cells, parietal cells, cheap cells, gastrin cells. Okay, So these G cells, also called endocrine cells. Okay, I'm not sure whether I think I mentioned previously what is endocrine in lesson 5.1. I explain you what is the meaning of endocrine. Endocrine mean, again I can show you, there is a group of cells and these cells produce hormone, and the hormone directly secrete to the blood. So hormones secrete into the blood. From the blood, these hormones travel to the other part of the body and they have some kind of an effect because of this hormone. So then this area is rich in blood vessels and they can take this hormone to different places. It is not going to the alimentary canal. It is nothing to do with alimentary canal. It goes to the blood. So hormones produced by the G cells go into the blood. Okay, let's see now what is the function of each cells. Mucus cell. So mucus cells produce a mucus. I think we learned mucus earlier here. Saliva also produce mucus. Mucus consists of glycoproteins called mucin and large amount of water and salt. The glycoproteins called mucin, water and salt. So stomach is doing the same thing. It produces mucus. Parietal cell, it produces hydrogen ion and the chloride ion. Hydrogen ion and chloride ion. And cheap cells produce enzyme called pep